How can one place preserve thousands of years of history, safeguard ancient traditions, protect breathtaking landscapes, and still remain one of Indonesia's most overlooked destinations? Welcome to Sumbawa, not the island most travelers rush to visit, not the destination constantly dominating social media, but perhaps one of the greatest untold stories in Southeast Asia. Located in the western part of Sumbawa Island, within Indonesia's West Nusa Tenggara province, Sumbawa Regency covers an impressive 6,643.98 square kilometers. It consists of 24 districts, 8 urban villages, and 157 rural villages. Yet its true size cannot be measured by maps alone. It is measured by the civilizations it has nurtured, the cultures it has preserved, and the extraordinary stories hidden within its mountains, coastlines, forests, and communities. Long before Indonesia existed as a modern nation, the land known as Tanah Samawa had already built its own remarkable history. Historical records trace the roots of Sumbawa back to the era of the Dewa Awan Kuning dynasty between 1350 and 1389. During this period, the kingdom embraced Hindu traditions that shaped its political and spiritual identity. Everything changed during the reign of King Dewa Majaruwa. After establishing relations with the Islamic Sultanate of Demak on the island of Java, the kingdom embraced Islam. This transformation permanently reshaped the identity of Sumbawa. Rather than erasing its traditions, Islamic values became deeply woven into local customs, creating a cultural harmony that continues to define Sumbawa today. The philosophy that emerged remains one of the island's greatest legacies. Custom must stand upon religious principles, and religious principles must stand upon the Holy Quran. It is a belief that still echoes throughout the island centuries later. Yet Sumbawa's story reaches even further back than kingdoms. Hidden within Moyo Hulu district lies one of Indonesia's important prehistoric archaeological sites, the Aik Renung megalithic site. Massive stone sarcophagi rest quietly beneath the open sky, silently guarding secrets from civilizations that existed thousands of years before written history. These ancient stone tombs are carved with remarkably detailed human faces and human figures. One sarcophagus even bears the carving of a crocodile, an image believed to hold deep symbolic meaning for the ancient community that once lived here. Although centuries of weather have slowly worn away these remarkable carvings, they remain powerful reminders that Sumbawa has been home to sophisticated societies since prehistoric times. But history is only the beginning, because Sumbawa also contains places so extraordinary that they challenge what people believe is possible. Imagine an island village covering only 8.5 hectares. Now imagine thousands of people living there, no wide streets, almost no empty land, no visible coastline surrounding the settlement, virtually no green open spaces. Welcome to Pulau Bungin. Often recognized as one of the most densely populated island settlements on Earth, every available space has become a home. Generations of families have expanded the island by hand, using dead coral stones as the foundation beneath their houses. Instead of purchasing land, residents literally created new ground beneath their feet. For centuries, the community transformed what was once nothing more than a small white sandbank into a thriving village through determination, cooperation, and extraordinary engineering born from necessity. Today, Pulau Bungin stands as one of the world's most remarkable examples of human resilience. Despite living in extremely close quarters, the community remains deeply connected through strong traditions, maritime culture, and a seafood cuisine celebrated for its fresh and richly flavored dishes. Only a short journey away, another masterpiece tells an entirely different story: the magnificent Dalam Loka Palace. Built in 1885 by Sultan Muhammad Jalaluddin Shah III, the 16th ruler of the Dewa Dalam Bawah dynasty, this enormous wooden palace once served as the royal residence of the Sultanate of Sumbawa. Its architectural brilliance continues to amaze historians and engineers alike. Covering approximately 904 square meters, the palace is elevated on traditional wooden stilts and constructed entirely without modern nails. Instead, master builders relied on an intricate wooden wedge system that allows the structure to flex naturally during earthquakes. This remarkable engineering technique has helped preserve the palace through generations in one of the world's most seismically active regions. Even every structural pillar carries symbolic meaning. 99 wooden columns support the palace. Not by coincidence, the number represents the 99 beautiful names of Allah, known as the Asmaul Husna. The palace itself embodies one of Sumbawa's guiding principles, that local tradition and Islamic teachings should strengthen one another rather than compete. This seamless blend of architecture, spirituality and engineering makes Dalam Loka one of Indonesia's most remarkable royal heritage sites. Then comes a destination that seems almost too beautiful to be real, Kanawa Island, a tiny island covering approximately 13.8 hectares off the northern coast of Sumbawa. Unlike tropical islands dominated by dense forests, Kanawa offers an entirely different landscape. Rolling golden savanna stretches across the island like an endless natural carpet. A gentle hill rises from its centre, rewarding visitors with panoramic views of crystal clear turquoise waters. Its white sandy beaches extend for nearly 1.7 kilometres, untouched by massive commercial development. The surrounding sea remains remarkably transparent, revealing vibrant marine life beneath the surface. Many travellers consider Kanawa one of Indonesia's most beautiful small islands, not because of luxury resorts, but because nature remains almost exactly as it has for generations. Yet perhaps the most astonishing traditions of Sumbawa cannot be photographed. Every Islamic month of Muharram, a unique ceremony known as Malala takes place. This ancient healing tradition reflects the profound relationship between the Sumbawa people and the natural world. A respected traditional healer known as a Sandro prepares medicinal oil using roots, forest plants, honey, bird nests, and numerous natural ingredients gathered from the surrounding environment. The mixture is heated continuously over an open fire for 4 to 5 hours. Then, something extraordinary happens. As the oil continues boiling, the Sandro stirs the burning liquid using bare hands. No visible signs of pain, no panic, only complete concentration. For local communities, this ritual represents generations of inherited knowledge, unwavering spiritual discipline, and deep cultural belief rather than spectacle. It is one of Indonesia's most extraordinary living traditions. Nature reveals another astonishing chapter beneath the island's limestone landscape. Liang Bukal, often called Bat Cave, shelters enormous colonies of bats that have occupied its chambers for generations. Visitors entering the cave are immediately greeted by the unmistakable scent of ammonia produced by countless bats overhead. Venturing deeper leads to Liang Patang, an almost completely dark cavern surrounded by local legends and mystery. Outside the cave, towering limestone cliffs embrace a valley where crystal clear spring water flows throughout the year. Even during the dry season, the river continues running. Its water remains so clear that local communities have long relied upon it as a natural freshwater source. The contrast between dark underground chambers and vibrant tropical landscapes creates an unforgettable experience that reflects the extraordinary geological diversity of Sumbawa. Finally, Rising proudly among beautiful hills stands one of the island's most iconic landmarks, the Great Darussalam Mosque. Its design is filled with symbolism. 99 majestic pillars once again represent the 99 beautiful names of Allah. 112 steps symbolize Surah Al-Ikhlas, while the mosque's 3 levels represent 3 fundamental principles embraced by the people of Sumbawa. Surrounding the mosque is an expansive 5,000 square meter reflecting pool, adorned with 120 fountains. Visitors cross a bridge before entering the prayer hall, creating a peaceful transition from the outside world into a place of reflection and worship. Its elegant combination of white, gold, and green architecture, together with intricate Arabic calligraphy decorating its interior, transforms the mosque into both a spiritual sanctuary and an architectural masterpiece. But perhaps the greatest beauty of Sumbawa cannot be captured in photographs. It lives within its people. Communities that have preserved ancient traditions while embracing progress. Families who built islands from the sea. Craftsmen who constructed earthquake-resistant palaces centuries before modern engineering. Traditional healers who continue knowledge passed down through countless generations. And a culture where faith, history, and nature exist not as separate stories, but as one living identity. In a world where many destinations are losing their authenticity to rapid commercialization, Sumbawa remains refreshingly genuine. It does not demand attention, it quietly earns admiration. It reminds us that true greatness is not measured by popularity, it is measured by heritage, by resilience, by wisdom, and by the courage to protect what makes a civilization unique. Sumbawa is not simply another destination on the map of Indonesia. It is a living museum, a cultural treasure, a natural masterpiece, a land where prehistoric civilizations, royal kingdoms, breathtaking islands, sacred traditions, remarkable engineering, and enduring faith continue to thrive together. For those willing to look beyond the obvious, Sumbawa offers something increasingly rare in today's world. Not just a place to visit, but a place that changes the way you understand history, culture, humanity, and the extraordinary richness of Indonesia itself. The deeper you explore Sumbawa, the more impossible it becomes to describe this land with a single word, because Sumbawa is not merely beautiful, it is powerful. Its mountains have witnessed kingdoms rise and fall, its coastlines have welcomed traders, explorers, fishermen, and travelers for centuries. Its forests have supplied medicines long before modern pharmacies existed. Its rivers have nourished generations. Its seas have sustained communities whose lives have always been inseparable from the ocean. Every corner of this land tells a story. Every village protects a legacy. Every tradition carries wisdom accumulated across hundreds of years. One of the greatest strengths of Sumbawa lies in something that cannot easily be measured: its people. The Sumbawa people are widely respected for their warmth, humility, and deep sense of community. Hospitality is not treated as a service, it is considered an obligation. Visitors are often welcomed not as strangers, but as honored guests. Meals are shared generously, stories are exchanged openly, respect for elders remains deeply rooted, while younger generations continue learning customs passed down from their ancestors. This cultural continuity is one reason why Sumbawa has managed to preserve so much of its identity despite the rapid changes occurring across the modern world. Language also plays an important role. The Sumbawa language remains an essential part of daily life, strengthening cultural identity while connecting generations to their heritage. Alongside the national language of Indonesia, it serves as a living reminder that diversity has always been one of the nation's greatest strengths. Agriculture continues to shape everyday life across much of the Regency. Vast rice fields stretch across fertile valleys. Corn plantations blanket rolling hills. Cattle graze across open grasslands that have become one of the defining landscapes of Western Sumbawa. For generations, farming and livestock have provided livelihoods for thousands of families. These are not simply economic activities, they represent traditions of patience, discipline, and cooperation between people and nature. The surrounding seas are equally generous. Fishing communities leave before sunrise and return with catches that support both local markets and regional trade. Fresh tuna, squid, snapper, grouper, shrimp, and countless other species form the backbone of coastal livelihoods. Seafood is more than cuisine in Sumbawa, it is a way of life. Many local recipes have remained unchanged for generations, preserving authentic flavors that reflect the island's maritime heritage. Beyond its villages lies another remarkable natural treasure, Moyo Island. Although administratively separate from many parts of mainland Sumbawa, it has become internationally recognized for its extraordinary biodiversity and pristine wilderness. Dense tropical forests shelter native wildlife. Hidden waterfalls cascade through lush valleys. Crystal clear waters reveal vibrant coral reefs that attract divers from around the world. Luxury travelers, conservationists, photographers, and marine researchers have all discovered something extraordinary here. Even members of international royalty and world-famous public figures have visited Moyo Island over the years, helping introduce this hidden paradise to a global audience. Yet, despite this growing recognition, much of the surrounding ecosystem remains remarkably well preserved. This balance between tourism and conservation is one of Sumbawa's greatest achievements. Another remarkable characteristic of Sumbawa is its geological diversity. Volcanic mountains, limestone caves, fertile plains, mangrove forests, coral reefs, rolling savannas, freshwater springs, and white sand beaches all exist within the same region. Few places in Indonesia offer such dramatic environmental variation across a relatively compact landscape. For scientists, this diversity provides valuable opportunities for ecological research. For photographers, it creates endless visual inspiration. For travelers, every journey reveals an entirely different side of the island. Adventure seekers also find themselves spoilt for choice. Mountain trekking, island hopping, snorkeling, scuba diving, kayaking, fishing, camping beneath star-filled skies, exploring hidden caves, walking through endless grasslands, watching spectacular sunsets over calm waters. Every experience feels authentic because so much of Sumbawa remains untouched by mass tourism. Perhaps that is exactly what makes it so unforgettable. Nothing feels manufactured, nothing feels artificial. Nature still leads, humanity simply follows. Sumbawa also reminds the world that sustainable development is possible. Communities continue protecting local traditions while embracing education, infrastructure, and economic growth. Young entrepreneurs are creating new opportunities. Local artisans continue producing traditional crafts. Farmers adopt modern agricultural techniques without abandoning ancestral wisdom. The younger generation increasingly recognizes that preserving culture is not standing still. It is building the future without forgetting the past. This balance between preservation and progress may become one of Sumbawa's greatest contributions to Indonesia in the decades ahead, because development without identity eventually loses its soul. But identity without development risks being left behind. Sumbawa continues striving for both. As Indonesia advances toward becoming one of the world's largest economies, regions like Sumbawa demonstrate that national strength does not come only from skyscrapers or industrial cities. It also comes from villages that preserve culture, from communities that protect nature, from citizens who value history as much as innovation, from traditions that continue inspiring future generations. Every nation has places that define its spirit. Sumbawa is one of Indonesia's defining places, not because it seeks attention, but because it quietly represents the resilience, diversity, creativity, faith, and determination that have always shaped the Indonesian archipelago. If you only visit Indonesia's most famous destinations, you will certainly witness extraordinary beauty. But if you venture into Sumbawa, you will discover something even more valuable: perspective. You will realize that greatness is often hidden far from the spotlight, that history often survives in silence, that authentic cultures do not need to advertise themselves, they simply continue living. And those willing to listen will hear stories that no textbook can fully capture. So the next time someone asks where Indonesia's greatest hidden treasures can still be found, remember this remarkable land. A place where prehistoric civilizations carved stone long before modern history began, where royal palaces still stand through earthquakes because ancient builders understood resilience, where island communities literally created new land with their own hands, where healing traditions continue to unite people with nature, where untouched islands seem almost too perfect to exist, where faith and culture strengthen one another across generations, where every sunrise reveals another chapter of an extraordinary story. This is not merely Sumbawa. This is one of Indonesia's greatest living masterpieces, a land that deserves not only to be visited, but to be understood, to be respected, to be protected, and above all, to be remembered. There is an old saying that the true measure of a destination is not how many people have heard of it, it is how many people leave forever changed after experiencing it. By that measure, Sumbawa stands among Indonesia's greatest treasures, because this island does not overwhelm visitors with artificial attractions. Instead, it slowly reveals itself, one story at a time, one landscape at a time, one unforgettable encounter at a time. Travel across Sumbawa and every kilometer introduces a different chapter. One moment you are standing before centuries-old royal architecture. The next, you are walking through endless savannas where wild grass dances with the wind beneath an enormous blue sky. Hours later, you may find yourself watching fishermen preparing their boats before sunrise, following traditions that have remained almost unchanged for generations. This constant transition between history, culture, and nature is what makes Sumbawa unlike almost anywhere else. The island also occupies an important geographical position within the Indonesian archipelago. Located between Lombok to the west and Flores to the east, Sumbawa has long served as a crossroads connecting cultures, trade routes, and civilizations. For centuries, merchants crossed these waters carrying spices, textiles, horses, precious woods, and ideas that shape societies throughout the region. The sea surrounding Sumbawa has never been a barrier, it has always been a bridge. This maritime heritage continues today. The ocean remains central to everyday life. Generations have mastered navigation by reading winds, tides, stars, and seasonal currents. Their knowledge was built not in classrooms, but through centuries of experience passed from parents to children. It is a reminder that education does not exist only inside books. Sometimes it exists in the memories of entire communities. Sumbawa is also widely respected for another extraordinary symbol: its horses. The Sumbawa horse has earned a reputation throughout Indonesia for its endurance, intelligence, and adaptability. For generations, these horses have been trusted companions for transportation, agriculture, cultural ceremonies, and traditional competitions. Even today, they remain an important symbol of local identity. Strength without arrogance, speed without recklessness, loyalty without hesitation. These qualities reflect not only the animal itself, but also the character admired by the people who have raised them for centuries. Then there is another treasure that cannot be ignored: the sea. Beneath the crystal clear waters surrounding Sumbawa lies a marine ecosystem that ranks among the richest on Earth. Colourful coral reefs provide shelter for countless species of tropical fish. Sea turtles glide gracefully through warm currents. Manta rays occasionally appear like silent giants moving beneath the surface. Healthy coral ecosystems not only support biodiversity, but also protect coastlines and sustain local fisheries. These underwater worlds remind us that Indonesia's greatest wealth is not hidden underground. It is alive, swimming, growing, breathing, waiting to be protected. Conservation has therefore become increasingly important. Local communities, government institutions, researchers, and conservation organizations continue working together to safeguard forests, mangroves, coral reefs, freshwater resources, and wildlife habitats. Because once natural heritage disappears, no amount of money can truly replace it. This responsibility belongs not only to Indonesia, it belongs to everyone who values the future of our planet. Sumbawa also teaches an important lesson about resilience. Indonesia sits along the Pacific Ring of Fire, one of the most geologically active regions in the world. Earthquakes and volcanic activity have shaped these islands for millions of years. Yet, instead of surrendering to nature, communities learned to understand it. Traditional builders designed flexible wooden structures. Villages adapted to changing environments. Agricultural systems evolved with seasonal conditions. Rather than attempting to conquer nature, people learned to coexist with it. Perhaps this is one of the greatest forms of wisdom humanity has ever developed. Modern technology often encourages us to dominate the natural world. Traditional societies remind us that lasting success comes from respecting it. Young people across Sumbawa are now writing the next chapter of this remarkable story. Students pursue higher education while remaining proud of their heritage. Entrepreneurs develop local businesses that celebrate traditional culture. Artists preserve music, dance, weaving, and storytelling. Digital creators introduce Sumbawa to international audiences through photography, documentaries, and social media. They understand something profoundly important. Culture survives only when every generation chooses to protect it. No government alone can preserve identity. No museum alone can protect tradition. The responsibility belongs to every citizen. And perhaps that is why Sumbawa's future looks so promising. Its greatest resource has never been gold. It has never been oil. It has never been popularity. Its greatest resource has always been its people. People who understand that progress and heritage can walk together. People who know that preserving nature is an investment, not a sacrifice. People who continue proving that humility is often stronger than pride. As the world becomes increasingly connected, destinations compete for attention through luxury resorts, towering skyscrapers, and record-breaking attractions. Sumbawa follows a different path. It allows authenticity to speak louder than advertising. It understands that trends come and go, but identity lasts forever. Perhaps that is why those who visit Sumbawa rarely remember only the scenery. They remember the conversations, the smiles, the traditions, the peaceful villages, the endless horizons, the feeling of discovering a place that still belongs to itself. Not every destination can offer that. Some places impress your eyes. Sumbawa reaches your heart. So before the rest of the world finally discovers what has quietly existed here for centuries, remember this name, Sumbawa, a land where prehistoric history still whispers through ancient stone, where royal heritage continues to inspire modern generations, where communities transform the sea into home, where faith, tradition, and culture stand side by side, where nature remains astonishingly beautiful, where resilience is written into every landscape, and where the true spirit of Indonesia continues to shine with extraordinary dignity. The greatest journeys are never measured by the distance you travel, they are measured by the perspective you gain. And few places have the power to transform that perspective quite like Sumbawa. This is not simply another regency on the map. It is one of Indonesia's timeless legacies, one of Southeast Asia's hidden wonders, and one of the most extraordinary stories the world has yet to fully discover. And perhaps the greatest mistake anyone can make is believing that Sumbawa can be understood in a single visit. It cannot. Because every return reveals another layer, another story, another lesson, another reason to fall in love with this remarkable land. The world often celebrates destinations because they are famous. Sumbawa deserves recognition because it is meaningful. This is a place where every mountain carries history, every coastline supports life, every tradition preserves knowledge. Every generation protects an identity that has survived centuries of change. Look closely and you begin to understand something extraordinary. The people of Sumbawa have never separated culture from daily life. Tradition is not performed only during festivals, it is lived. Children grow up learning respect through family customs. Communities strengthen unity through mutual cooperation. Religious values guide everyday decisions. Traditional ceremonies continue marking life's most important moments, from birth to marriage and beyond. This living heritage gives Sumbawa something many modern societies struggle to preserve: a strong sense of belonging. That connection also appears in the island's traditional arts. Music, dance, poetry, and craftsmanship are not simply forms of entertainment. They are historical records carried from one generation to the next. Traditional songs preserve stories. Dances celebrate victories, gratitude, and community. Handcrafted textiles reflect patience, precision, and artistic excellence developed through centuries of experience. Every pattern tells a story. Every thread represents hours of dedication. Every finished piece carries the identity of its maker. These are treasures that cannot be mass-produced. They are expressions of a civilization. Food offers another window into the soul of Sumbawa. Local cuisine reflects both the island's fertile land and its close relationship with the sea. Fresh seafood, aromatic spices, locally grown rice, and traditional cooking methods combine to create flavors that remain deeply authentic. Recipes are often passed from grandparents to grandchildren without written instructions. Knowledge survives through practice, through memory, through family. This is how culture endures, not inside museums alone, but around dining tables where stories are shared as freely as food. The landscapes themselves seem designed to inspire reflection. Morning sunlight slowly illuminates rolling hills covered in golden grass. Afternoon breezes sweep across open savannas. Evening skies explode into brilliant shades of orange, crimson, and deep violet before darkness quietly settles over the sea. Night reveals a sky crowded with stars that many city dwellers have almost forgotten still exist. Moments like these remind us that silence has value, nature has wisdom, and beauty often asks for nothing more than our attention. Sumbawa also represents an important chapter in Indonesia's future. As the nation continues expanding infrastructure, improving education, strengthening tourism, and encouraging sustainable development, regions like Sumbawa demonstrate that economic growth and cultural preservation do not have to compete. They can strengthen one another. Responsible tourism creates opportunities for local communities. Conservation protects ecosystems for future generations. Cultural education keeps traditions alive. Innovation helps young entrepreneurs build businesses rooted in local identity rather than replacing it. This balance is not always easy, but Sumbawa continues proving that it is possible. Perhaps this is the lesson the world needs most. Progress should never require forgetting who we are. The strongest societies are those that embrace the future while honoring the past. Sumbawa quietly embodies that philosophy every single day. For historians, it is an open archive. For archaeologists, it is a priceless field of discovery. For environmentalists, it is an ecosystem worth protecting. For photographers, it is a masterpiece of light and landscape. For adventurers, it is an endless playground. For spiritual seekers, it offers moments of peace. For travelers, it offers unforgettable memories. And for Indonesia, it stands as a reminder that some of the nation's greatest treasures remain hidden far beyond the busiest tourist routes. Imagine if every visitor left not only with beautiful photographs, but also with a deeper appreciation for cultural diversity. Imagine if every journey inspired greater respect for nature. Imagine if tourism became a force that protected traditions instead of replacing them. That vision is not impossible. In many ways, Sumbawa is already showing the world how it can be achieved. There are places you visit because they are fashionable. There are places you visit because everyone else goes there. And then there are places like Sumbawa, places that quietly stay with you long after you return home, places whose stories continue echoing in your thoughts, places that remind you that the richest destinations are not always the loudest. Sometimes they are the quiet ones, patiently waiting to be discovered. So when you think about Indonesia, do not think only of the places that fill postcards and travel advertisements. Think beyond the familiar. Think beyond the obvious. Think about the island where ancient kingdoms embraced new faith without abandoning their identity. Think about the prehistoric stone tombs that have survived for thousands of years. Think about the world's extraordinary island settlement built through human determination. Think about earthquake-resistant royal architecture built with remarkable ingenuity. Think about untouched savanna islands surrounded by crystal-clear seas. Think about sacred healing traditions preserved across generations. Think about caves alive with nature. Think about magnificent mosques that unite architecture, spirituality, and symbolism. Think about communities whose greatest wealth has always been their character. That is Sumbawa, a place where the past still breathes, where the present continues to inspire, and where the future is being built upon foundations of history, faith, resilience, and hope. Long after trends disappear, long after headlines fade, long after algorithms move on to something new, Sumbawa will remain, standing proudly between mountain and sea, guarding stories that deserve to be heard, protecting traditions that deserve to endure, welcoming every traveler with the timeless warmth of the Sumbawa people. Because some destinations are beautiful, some destinations are historic, some destinations are unforgettable. Sumbawa is all of them at once. And perhaps that is why this remarkable corner of Indonesia is no longer simply a hidden treasure. It is one of the nation's greatest gifts to the world. Its story deserves to be told. Its heritage deserves to be protected. Its people deserve to be celebrated. And its extraordinary legacy deserves to inspire generations yet to come. There is one final truth about Sumbawa that every traveler, historian, and dreamer eventually discovers. The greatest treasures are not always those protected behind glass. They are the ones still alive, still breathing, still evolving, still shaping the lives of millions. Sumbawa is one of those treasures. Its greatest monuments are not only ancient palaces or prehistoric stone tombs. Its greatest monument is its people. Generation after generation, they have carried forward values that cannot be bought and cannot be replaced. Respect, honor, faith, perseverance, hospitality, and an unwavering belief that the future becomes stronger when it grows from the roots of the past. Walk through the villages of Sumbawa and you will notice something remarkable. Life moves with purpose rather than urgency. Neighbors know one another. Families remain closely connected. Community gatherings still matter. Children grow up surrounded by grandparents whose memories stretch back decades. Knowledge is passed from voice to voice rather than screen to screen. In a rapidly changing world, this human connection has become one of the rarest forms of wealth. That wealth is reflected in every celebration. Traditional ceremonies are filled with music, prayers, colorful clothing, and symbols that preserve centuries of cultural identity. Each event reminds the community that history is not something that happened long ago. History continues every single day through the choices people make. Whether protecting ancestral traditions, preserving sacred places, teaching local languages, or caring for the environment, every generation becomes another chapter in the long story of Tanah Samawa. Education is also shaping the island's future. Across Sumbawa, schools, universities, community organizations, and young leaders continue expanding opportunities for the next generation. Students are learning modern science while remaining proud of local wisdom. Technology is opening doors to global knowledge while giving young creators new ways to introduce their homeland to the world. This combination of education and cultural confidence has the potential to transform Sumbawa into one of Indonesia's strongest examples of sustainable regional development. Economic growth is creating new possibilities. Agriculture continues improving through innovation. Marine industries are becoming more efficient. Small businesses are reaching international markets through digital platforms. Tourism continues attracting visitors seeking authentic experiences rather than crowded destinations. Yet throughout these changes, the challenge remains the same. How can development continue without sacrificing identity? Sumbawa offers an inspiring answer. Protect culture, protect nature, empower people, build responsibly. Progress is not measured only by taller buildings or larger industries. It is measured by whether future generations inherit a better home than the one we received. Few places understand that responsibility as deeply as Sumbawa. The island also reminds the world that biodiversity is one of humanity's greatest assets. Its forests help regulate local climates, its rivers provide clean water, its coral reefs support marine ecosystems that feed coastal communities. Its mangroves protect shorelines from erosion while serving as nurseries for countless marine species. Every ecosystem is connected. When one is protected, all benefit. When one is destroyed, everyone pays the price. This lesson has become increasingly important as climate change, habitat loss, and environmental degradation affect communities around the globe. Sumbawa demonstrates that conservation is not simply about protecting wildlife, it is about protecting human life itself. Perhaps this is why the island continues leaving such a lasting impression on everyone willing to explore it with an open mind. You arrive expecting beautiful beaches. You leave thinking about history. You arrive searching for landscapes. You leave remembering people. You arrive as a visitor. You leave carrying a story. That transformation is rare. Not every destination has the power to change the way we see the world. Sumbawa does. and perhaps that is the highest compliment any place can receive. As Indonesia continues rising on the global stage, the world will increasingly discover destinations that have remained hidden for generations. Some will become famous overnight, others will slowly earn recognition through authenticity, integrity, and timeless beauty. Sumbawa belongs to the second group. Its value does not depend on popularity, its greatness does not depend on headlines, its significance does not depend on social media trends. Its importance has already been proven by history, by archaeology, by architecture, by culture, by faith, by nature, and above all, by the resilience of its people. One day, millions more travelers may stand upon the grassy hills of Kanawa Island and watch the sunrise over the Flores Sea. They may wander through the magnificent halls of Dalam Loka Palace. They may listen to the quiet echoes surrounding the ancient sarcophagi of Aik Renung. They may cross the narrow pathways of Pulau Bungin in amazement. They may admire the elegant beauty of the great Darussalam Mosque. They may explore mysterious caves where bats have lived for generations. They may discover countless stories that have waited patiently to be heard. When that day comes, may they remember something important. These places are not merely attractions, they are inheritances. They were entrusted to today's generation by those who came before, and they must be protected for those who have not yet arrived. Because heritage is not ours to own, it is ours to safeguard. So let the story of Sumbawa travel beyond Indonesia. Let it reach classrooms, museums, documentaries, libraries, and conversations around the world. Let it inspire travelers to seek authenticity instead of convenience. Let it remind leaders that development should protect culture rather than erase it. Let it encourage young people to take pride in their roots while embracing the future. Most importantly, let it stand as proof that some of humanity's greatest treasures still exist, quietly waiting beyond the familiar paths. Sumbawa is more than a destination. It is more than a regency. It is more than an island. It is a living testament to the extraordinary journey of human civilization across the Indonesian archipelago. It is where ancient kingdoms evolved into modern communities, where prehistoric history meets living tradition, where breathtaking nature meets profound spirituality, where resilience becomes identity, where every sunrise illuminates another chapter of an unfinished story. And perhaps after hearing that story, you will understand why Sumbawa deserves far more than admiration. It deserves respect, it deserves protection, it deserves celebration. Because when the history of Indonesia's greatest cultural and natural treasures is written for future generations, Sumbawa will not merely occupy a page, it will stand as one of the defining chapters, a timeless land, a resilient people, an extraordinary legacy, and a place whose story will continue inspiring the world for centuries to come. Yet even after all of these stories, one question still remains. Why has Sumbawa remained one of Indonesia's best-kept secrets for so long? The answer is surprisingly simple. Sumbawa has never tried to compete for attention. It has never needed to. While other destinations rushed toward rapid commercialization, Sumbawa quietly preserved what many places around the world have already lost: its authenticity, its identity, its soul. That quiet confidence is exactly what makes Sumbawa extraordinary. In an age where millions of people travel simply to recreate photographs they have already seen online, Sumbawa offers something increasingly rare: original discovery. Every journey here feels personal, every encounter feels genuine, every landscape feels untouched. This is not a destination designed by marketing campaigns. It is a destination shaped by thousands of years of history. Throughout human civilization, the greatest societies understood one important truth: Prosperity does not come only from natural resources, it comes from the character of its people. Sumbawa proves this lesson every single day. Its greatest wealth has never been measured in gold mines, oil reserves, or financial markets. Its greatest wealth is trust. Communities trust one another, families support one another, neighbors help one another. That spirit of cooperation has enabled generations to survive droughts, earthquakes, economic change, and the constant challenges of island life. It is a reminder that resilience is never built alone, it is built together. This same spirit can be seen in the traditional practice of mutual cooperation that continues across villages throughout Sumbawa. Homes are built together, ceremonies are prepared together, harvests are celebrated together. When difficulties arise, communities respond not with isolation, but with solidarity. Perhaps modern society has something important to learn from this way of life. Technology can connect billions of people, but only genuine human relationships create real communities. Sumbawa continues protecting that lesson. The island's future is also becoming increasingly promising. Improved transportation networks are strengthening connections with other parts of Indonesia. Educational opportunities continue expanding. Digital technology allows local businesses, artists, and entrepreneurs to introduce their products and traditions to international audiences. Sustainable tourism initiatives are creating jobs while encouraging environmental conservation. These developments represent more than economic progress. They represent hope. Hope that future generations will inherit an island that is both more prosperous and more protected. Hope that young people can build successful careers without abandoning their cultural identity. Hope that economic growth and environmental responsibility can move forward together. This vision reflects a broader story unfolding across Indonesia itself, a nation built upon extraordinary diversity. More than 17,000 islands, hundreds of ethnic groups, hundreds of local languages, countless traditions, yet united by one shared identity. Within that remarkable national story, Sumbawa occupies a unique place. It demonstrates that diversity is not a weakness. It is Indonesia's greatest strength. Every region contributes something irreplaceable. Some contribute industrial power, some contribute scientific innovation. Others preserve cultural heritage stretching back thousands of years. Sumbawa contributes all of these in its own remarkable way. Its agricultural landscapes strengthen food security. Its marine resources support coastal livelihoods. Its cultural traditions enrich national identity. Its historical sites preserve priceless chapters of human civilization. Its natural ecosystems contribute to global biodiversity. Its people demonstrate the enduring strength of compassion, resilience, and faith. Few regions carry such remarkable balance. As global tourism continues evolving, travelers increasingly seek meaningful experiences rather than crowded itineraries. People want authenticity. They want conversations instead of crowds. They want memories instead of marketing. They want destinations that leave lasting emotional impact rather than temporary excitement. Sumbawa is perfectly positioned for this new generation of exploration, not because it has changed, but because the world is finally beginning to appreciate places that never abandon their authenticity. Imagine standing alone atop Kanawa Island as the first light of dawn paints the horizon with brilliant shades of gold. Imagine hearing nothing except gentle waves and distant seabirds. Imagine walking through the historic halls of Dalam Loka Palace while imagining the conversations that once shaped an entire kingdom. Imagine looking into the carved faces of prehistoric sarcophagi that have silently witnessed thousands of years pass. Imagine meeting families whose ancestors literally expanded an island with their own hands at Pulau Bungin. Imagine listening to the evening call to prayer echoing across the hills surrounding the great Darussalam Mosque. These are not simply travel experiences, they are encounters with history itself. Every nation possesses places that define its character. For Egypt, it is the pyramids. For Peru, it is Machu Picchu. For Cambodia, it is Angkor. For Indonesia, greatness is not concentrated in one location. It is scattered across thousands of islands. And among those extraordinary places, Sumbawa shines as one of the nation's most authentic cultural and natural treasures. Perhaps its greatest achievement is this: despite centuries of change, it has never forgotten who it is. Kingdoms transformed, religions spread, trade expanded, technology advanced, generations came and went, yet the spirit of Tanah Sumbawa endured. That spirit cannot be measured by statistics. It cannot be captured completely in photographs. It cannot be explained through maps alone. It must be experienced. It must be felt. And once it touches your heart, it becomes impossible to forget. Because some places impress your senses, others awaken your curiosity. Only a very few reshape your understanding of humanity itself. Sumbawa belongs to that rare and extraordinary category. It reminds us that civilization is not defined only by the monuments people build. It is defined by the values they choose to preserve. And in Sumbawa, those values continue to live on, quietly, proudly, and beautifully, waiting for the rest of the world to discover one of Indonesia's most extraordinary stories. If the story of Sumbawa teaches us anything, it is this: civilizations are remembered not because they were the richest, they are remembered because they left something meaningful behind. Some left monuments, some left inventions, some left literature, some left revolutions that changed the course of history. Sumbawa left something equally valuable, a living example of how humanity can exist in harmony with history, culture, faith, and nature. That achievement deserves far more attention than it has received. Imagine standing on this island 1,000 years from now. The mountains will still rise toward the sky. The sea will still embrace the coastline. The wind will still sweep across the grasslands of Kenawa. The ancient sarcophagi of Ike Renung will still remind future generations that human civilization has always sought meaning beyond ordinary existence. The question is not whether Sumbawa will survive. The question is whether we will do enough to preserve what makes it extraordinary. Every generation inherits two responsibilities: to receive and to protect. The people of Sumbawa inherited an island filled with remarkable natural beauty, rich traditions, royal heritage, and archaeological treasures. Now, they carry the responsibility of ensuring those gifts continue inspiring future generations. That responsibility belongs to all of us as well, because cultural heritage is not limited by national borders. The loss of one civilization's identity diminishes the shared history of humanity itself. Every language that disappears, every historical building that collapses, every forest that is destroyed, every coral reef that dies, every forgotten tradition, every abandoned ceremony, each one represents a page permanently torn from the story of our world. Sumbawa reminds us why preservation matters. Its prehistoric sites connect us with our earliest ancestors. Its royal palace demonstrates architectural intelligence developed long before modern engineering software. Its traditional medicine reflects centuries of observation and knowledge about nature. Its villages preserve social values that many modern societies now struggle to rebuild. Its landscapes reveal ecosystems that continue supporting countless forms of life. Everything is connected. History shapes culture. Culture shapes identity. Identity shapes the future. This understanding has become increasingly important in the 21st century. As globalization accelerates, people often fear that unique local identities will slowly disappear beneath a single global culture. Yet Sumbawa demonstrates another possibility. A community can welcome the future without abandoning its roots. Young entrepreneurs can use digital technology while proudly speaking the Sumbawa language. Students can pursue international education while honouring local traditions. Communities can improve infrastructure while protecting sacred places and natural landscapes. Progress does not require forgetting where we came from. Instead, genuine progress begins by understanding it. This philosophy may become one of Sumbawa's greatest lessons for the world. The island also represents an extraordinary opportunity for responsible tourism. Travel is changing. Modern explorers increasingly value authenticity over luxury. They seek meaningful conversations rather than crowded attractions. They want to understand local culture rather than simply observe it. They hope their journeys create positive impacts for local communities. Sumbawa offers exactly this kind of experience. Visitors are not simply spectators, they become participants in a living story. Every local guide shares generations of knowledge. Every artisan preserves skills refined over centuries. Every fisherman understands the rhythm of the sea. Every farmer reads the changing seasons with remarkable precision. These are forms of expertise that no artificial intelligence, no satellite image, and no travel brochure can fully replace. They exist only because people continue practicing them every single day. Perhaps that is the true definition of heritage, not something frozen in time, but something continuously lived, continuously shared, continuously renewed. That is why Sumbawa feels different. It is not performing culture for visitors, it is simply living according to values that have guided generations. There is a quiet confidence throughout this island, no need for unnecessary spectacle, no need for exaggerated claims, no need to compete with louder destinations. Its mountains speak for themselves, its history speaks for itself, its people speak through kindness rather than words. And sometimes the quietest voices carry the greatest wisdom. As Indonesia continues strengthening its position on the global stage, regions like Sumbawa will become increasingly important, not only because they contribute to economic development, but because they remind the nation of its deepest foundations. Indonesia is not great because it has thousands of islands. Indonesia is great because every island contributes a unique chapter to one remarkable national story. Sumbawa's chapter is one of resilience, one of cultural harmony, one of spiritual depth, one of environmental richness, one of human determination, and one of enduring hope. Centuries from now, historians may study economic statistics, they may analyze political events, they may examine technological revolutions, but they will also search for places that preserved humanity's greatest values during periods of rapid change. Sumbawa has every opportunity to become one of those places, a place remembered not only for what it possessed, but for what it protected, not only for what it built, but for what it refused to lose. Because in the end, civilizations are not judged solely by their achievements, they are judged by what they choose to pass forward. Sumbawa continues passing forward wisdom instead of forgetting it, culture instead of conformity, stewardship instead of exploitation, hope instead of fear. That is why this remarkable land deserves a place among Indonesia's greatest treasures, not because it demands recognition, but because it has quietly earned it through centuries of perseverance, dignity, and unwavering respect for both people and nature. And perhaps one day, when the world finally realizes what has been waiting here all along, Sumbawa will no longer be known merely as a hidden destination. It will be recognized for what it has always been, a timeless beacon of Indonesian civilization, a guardian of living heritage, a masterpiece created not by a single generation, but by countless generations working together across the centuries. Its journey is far from over, its greatest chapters may still lie ahead, and the story of Sumbawa, written by history, protected by its people, and illuminated by the beauty of nature, will continue inspiring the world for generations yet to come. And perhaps that is the most remarkable part of Sumbawa's story. It is still being written, not by famous kings, not by powerful empires, not by global corporations, but by ordinary people who continue doing extraordinary things every single day. A fisherman who leaves home before dawn, trusting the sea that has sustained his family for generations. A farmer who patiently waits through changing seasons, believing that perseverance will always be rewarded. A teacher who introduces children to modern science while reminding them never to forget the wisdom of their ancestors. An artisan who spends countless hours weaving traditional patterns, knowing that every finished piece carries the identity of an entire culture. A young entrepreneur who builds a business rooted in local values while reaching customers across the world through digital technology. These people may never appear in history books, yet they are the true guardians of Sumbawa. Because civilizations survive not only through monuments, they survive through everyday choices. The choice to remember, the choice to protect, the choice to care, the choice to pass knowledge forward. Every sunrise over Sumbawa begins with those choices. This remarkable land also reflects one of Indonesia's greatest strengths, unity within diversity. Across the Indonesian archipelago, every island contributes something unique. Java offers political and economic leadership. Bali shares its artistic and spiritual traditions with the world. Sumatra safeguards ancient rainforests and remarkable biodiversity. Sulawesi reveals extraordinary marine ecosystems and unique cultures. Papua protects one of Earth's last great wildernesses, and Sumbawa contributes something equally important, a powerful reminder that authentic heritage still exists, that traditions can survive alongside modernization, that progress can respect the past instead of replacing it. This is why Sumbawa matters not only to Indonesia, it matters to the world. Because the challenges facing humanity today are remarkably similar everywhere. How do we grow without destroying nature? How do we modernize without losing identity? How do we create prosperity without sacrificing future generations? How do we remain connected to one another in an increasingly digital world? Sumbawa does not claim to possess every answer, but it offers something just as valuable, a living example. An example of communities that continue placing people before profit. An example of traditions that strengthen rather than divide society. An example of architecture designed with nature instead of against it. An example of cultural resilience that has survived centuries of political, economic, and technological transformation. Few places on Earth can offer lessons so relevant to the future. Perhaps that is why visitors often describe Sumbawa using words that go far beyond beautiful. They speak of peace, of authenticity, of perspective, of inspiration. They remember conversations more vividly than attractions. They remember kindness more than itineraries. They remember moments rather than schedules. Because genuine hospitality leaves a deeper impression than luxury ever can. The natural world surrounding Sumbawa reinforces this feeling. Its coral reefs remind us that life flourishes through balance. Its forests demonstrate the importance of patience. Its rivers teach persistence as they carve valleys over thousands of years. Its mountains stand as symbols of endurance. Its endless horizon over the sea reminds us that exploration never truly ends. Nature becomes both classroom and teacher. Those willing to observe carefully soon realize that Sumbawa is constantly offering lessons. Lessons about resilience, lessons about humility, lessons about gratitude, lessons about coexistence. These lessons have become increasingly valuable in an age where speed often replaces reflection. There is another reason why Sumbawa deserves international recognition. Its story expands our understanding of Indonesia itself. Too often, people outside the country know only a handful of famous destinations, yet Indonesia is one of the most culturally diverse nations on Earth. Each region preserves languages, customs, architecture, cuisine, music, ceremonies, and histories that deserve global appreciation. Sumbawa is one of those remarkable regions. Its story reminds us that Indonesia cannot be understood through one island alone. To understand Indonesia is to understand its diversity, to appreciate hundreds of cultures living together, to recognize that every province contributes a unique chapter to one extraordinary national identity. Sumbawa's chapter is among the most compelling. It is a chapter filled with prehistoric mystery, royal heritage, religious harmony, architectural brilliance, marine abundance, traditional wisdom, community resilience, and breathtaking natural beauty. Very few places combine all of these qualities within a single region. That is precisely why Sumbawa deserves greater recognition on the world stage. Not to become another destination overwhelmed by mass tourism, but to become an international example of responsible preservation. A place where economic opportunity strengthens local communities, where conservation protects biodiversity, where education safeguards cultural identity, where visitors leave not only with photographs, but with a deeper understanding of humanity. Imagine a child visiting Sumbawa for the first time. Perhaps they stand inside Dalam Loka Palace and become fascinated by history. Perhaps they climb the grassy hill on Kenawa Island and dream of becoming an environmental scientist. Perhaps they meet a traditional artisan and discover the beauty of craftsmanship. Perhaps they hear stories about the ancient people of Aik Renung and decide to become an archaeologist. Perhaps they simply experience the kindness of the Sumbawa people and learn the lifelong value of compassion. That single journey could shape an entire future. That is the true power of places like Sumbawa. They do not simply entertain, they educate, they inspire, they transform. As long as its forests continue standing, as long as its coral reefs continue thriving, as long as its languages continue being spoken, as long as its traditions continue being practiced, as long as its children continue learning the wisdom of those who came before them, the spirit of Sumbawa will never disappear. It will continue flowing through every river, echoing across every valley, sailing across every wave, living within every community, waiting for each new generation to write the next unforgettable chapter. Because some stories belong to history, some belong to the present. The story of Sumbawa belongs to both. And if its people continue protecting what truly matters, it will also belong to the future, not only as one of Indonesia's hidden gems, but as one of the world's enduring examples of how culture, nature, faith, and humanity can flourish together in remarkable harmony. That is the legacy of Sumbawa, a legacy that is still alive, still growing, still inspiring, and still inviting the world to discover one of the most extraordinary places ever created by the remarkable journey of human civilization.